there's actually kind of two. There are kind of two things. One is the blog. I also wrote this book, and so the anyway, for many years I wasn't very happy with what was going on there, and I was kind of observing that, okay, this is becoming more and more problematic. There's this, not only are people kind of not admitting that this isn't working out, but there's this whole, there's a lot of kind of public promotion of the subject, and it's a very difficult, complicated subject. A lot of people don't understand it, and so this is really not a healthy situation. So someone should kind of clearly explain to larger community of physicists and also to non-physicists, exactly what the situation is here. And so I wrote an article about this, and then I finally wrote this book, and it took a while to get the book published. That's a long and interesting story. But then after the book was written, I also started to see there were a couple other physicists who had started blogs, and I thought, well, this is an interesting thing to try to do, and I can both talk about these issues related to string theory and things which I was trying to get at through the book, but also kind of follow it on a day-to-day basis, and also just kind of write about whatever I'm interested in. So the blog, I guess I don't worry a lot about the audience for it. It's kind of written. I guess I realize it's really just kind of whatever I would like to read. So I'm kind of writing whatever I would like to read. So if there's somebody out there exactly like me, they must find this really fascinating, and if there's something quite different, they find it not at all interesting. And so, because of that, it's the kinds of things in the blog are often, if I learn something, there's something new, interesting going on, and even in pure mathematics, I'll be writing about that, or pretty much anything going on in between mathematics and physics, I'll be writing about that. I'm writing a lot about the LHC, and also just about whatever is going on in this controversy over string theory, and it's kind of. It's interesting that more kind of keeps happening with that. My book came out, and at the same time there was a book by another physicist with a similar point of view to mine, and all came out. So that caused a lot of controversy. So there's a lot of reviews and a lot of argument going on these blogs, and a lot of people refer to this as the string wars. And so there's this for I don't know, a year or two there was a kind of very interesting. If you're interested in this kind of thing, there's an interesting warfare in terms of blog postings and comments going on my site and various others, and that would lead to all sorts of strange things. I don't mean. It depends. I often learn interesting things from comment. So now that the blog is fairly well known, so people will write in comments on my blog, often telling me about something I hadn't heard about or know about, and that's very interesting. Or they'll often send it to me privately by email, saying, hey, you might be interested in this, and so I get a lot of that. I learn a lot that way. One interesting thing I found amusing about the whole string theory discussion was that it's it really is. It's an incredibly complex and difficult subject, and so it's really hard to overemphasize how it's a subject that really nobody understands very well, and even the people who are the most experts at it are. I had this amazing experience of having a conversation with some Nobel Prize winners who people are thought of as the brightest people in this field, and asking them what they think of string theory, and they'll say, I don't know, I don't really understand what's going on, I don't want to comment on it, and it's just, I'm baffled by it. So one interesting thing about some of these discussions in the blog was I found one way to figure out exactly what's going on in string theory, and whether something is really a problem or not, is to just put up my understanding of it, in a blog posting or in a comment or whatever, and then fairly quickly you would find that either I was wrong and there was some reason that this actually made sense, even though I thought it didn't, and I would quickly, often abusively, be explaining to me what an idiot I was and why this was. Here's the answer, what you really should have known, and then I found out that, okay, I learned something, or often I would find out that if I was right, if there really was a problem here, the answer I would get would often be just this abuse of, you're a complete jerk and you're a moron, but no scientific answer to the scientific question. So that was actually an interesting way to kind of see exactly what the state of research in the subject was, by kind of probing it and trying to and getting that kind of response from some of the more hostile people in the subject. I mean, it's mostly a positive thing. I mean, one thing to say about one of the main problems with the blogs, one of the most annoying thing about the blogs is, especially if a lot of people are reading it, you're really in a situation where there's a small number of people who really understand this and know what's going on and have something really sensible to say about it. There's a very large number of people who have some kind of interest in it and, you know, have the time and energy to sit there and write uninformed things on your blog and kind of just, so I actually did, I think unlike some blogs, I actually delete a lot of the comments submitted to my blog and try to keep the noise level down. And so that's probably the most discouraging thing about the whole experience. It's just the number of people out there who kind of want to go on about this and argue about this, but don't know what they're talking about, and want to kind of fill the internet and all information sources they get their hands on with kind of uninformed nonsense. So there's a lot of that, but but just the kind of discussion of the subject and of its problems, which I think went on in these blogs, and which you know, if you're interested, you can now have information go and see and read. I don't think there's really any other form. You know, it's an amazing format for that. There's really no other way that, you know, that discussion could be held in that way, and also, I mean, the internet just provides this kind of amazing access to information of a sort, which is just totally unlike anything we've had before. You can, you know, just Google some term and immediately have access to all sorts of often high-level discussions of the subject. And I think the one, well, it's actually made some of the faddishness of particle theory actually a bit worse, in the sense that one thing that used to kind of slow down fads was just how long it took to communicate them to people. I mean, you know, the certain prominent people might have started working on some idea at Princeton or Harvard, but it would take a while for that news of that and understanding of what these people were doing to filter out to the rest of the community. And if people wanted to kind of jump on it and pursue it in a faddish way, it would take them a while to even find out about it. Whereas now, everybody's kind of, every night there's kind of a new set of preprints coming out on the preprint server, and people logging in and looking at these, and the minute that somebody has some new thing which is becoming a kind of a faddish thing to work on, everybody throughout the world has it at exactly the same time on their desktop and can start thinking about it and working on it, and so it kind of makes that even more so than it used to be.